In Memphis, nothing comes easy, and that's exactly how we like it. This is a city built on hustle, on heart, on grit. And at Carway, our rides are built the same way. Tough, reliable, ready for the grind. No games, no gimmicks, just Memphis-style service. Real, honest, and built on trust. Where grit meets grind, you meet your next ride. Carway, grit, grind, and Pink Beetles. In Memphis, we know a thing or two about resilience. From the grindhouse to the Delta, we protect what's ours. But when pests invade your home, it's time to fight back. Grade A Pest knows how to handle what crawls, flies, and bites. With local experience and guaranteed results.
I'm Reggie with Grade A Pest Control. We service the Memphis metro area. That also includes DeSoto and Fayette County as well.
Grade A Pest has the entire Mid-South covered. So if bugs and pests put you to the test, let Grade A solve your problem. Bluff City Media presents the Two Buck Sports Show with your hosts, Rusty Buckets and Uncle Buck. Now, let's get to the show.
Welcome to the Two Buck Sports Show with your host, Rusty. I never want to move another box again. Bucket!
That is a fact with my guy, Wayne O, here on the Two Buck Sports Show, brought to you by FanDuel, the official odds provider of Bluff City Media. And I couldn't be more excited to be here with you today. Wayne O, we do miss Drew, but I am enjoying all the basketball takes from across the pond, way down under in the land of Jock Landale. Thanks for joining me once again on a bright and early morning down there. How are you, buddy?
Too soon with the jock talk. Too soon.
I know, man. We went from having a great Aussie to no Aussies, and we had you, and then we lost you.
I waited so long for an Aussie on this team.
And we had a great one.
Close with Stephen Adams, but New Zealanders don't count. And then we finally get Jock. We finally get a really good one, and I don't even get him for a full 82 game regular season.
Mm-hmm. I know, and then all he does is in his first game for the Hawks, go play 32 minutes in a single game. I'm not sure he's recovered yet, and go for 26 and 12. Like, just an unbelievable effort for Jock and the Hawks. But we won't beat that dead horse, as we will at the end of this show in our final segment with our survival guide, as talked about here, how to survive a tank. But before we get to all that, before we get to the sports talks, before we get into talking about the things that we unfortunately have to talk about, because we unfortunately love the Memphis Grizzlies, it's a real abusive relationship. But before we get to that, we have to give you our best and beef of the week every Monday, brought to you by Donna's Italian Beef. So why waste any more time? That's right. Every single Monday, we give you our best in beef, brought to you by Donald's Italian Beef, 509 Constitution Drive in Iuka, Mississippi, the best spot for a sack lunch or breakfast on the way to Pickwick Lake. Wayno, if we find ourselves in Northeast Mississippi while you're here in the States, we will absolutely swing by and get you your first ever slug burger in Corinth, so you can appreciate, technically in Iuka, I guess, so you can appreciate what a slug burger actually is.
That sounds scary and amazing.
It is. We'll get mustard, pickle, onion the way the good Lord intended. But on Mondays, we talk about the best thing of our week and the worst thing that happened to us. Tongue in cheek, obviously. But we always start with the good before the bad. So, Wayno, what is the best thing that happened to you this weekend?
Oh, sometimes you're just on Facebook and you get the Facebook memories that pop up,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, it's not something I kind of actively look at on a daily a daily basis. But yesterday marked 13 years since a little podcast in Australia started. We hit our 100th episode, and we did a live event for it. And I have a habit of biting off events, tasks, projects, that are just way too big for me, out of control.
You don't
and that
say.
was the case. That was the case with that. But it was amazing. Just all the memories came flooding back. We did a little hype reel. So I'll put that up on my Facebook page as well. And it was just a fun event. And the whole yelling Wayno was in full effect back then. So yeah, that was kind of my not my best of the week, but just a really good highlight of the week, I think. Yeah. So so shout out to all the boys, Vince, Stu. There were some key guys behind the scenes with my mate Dave, Mark, and Nick, who filmed everything. I can't believe we pulled it off. Would have done it without them. And we did event bags, we did teas, we had caps. Yeah, it was an amazing night. So yeah, I guess my best of the week.
Good for you, man. That's awesome. I saw that posted this morning, so I watched it. I won't tell you what I was doing while I watched it, but I watched the little highlights on YouTube. And it was first thing this morning right after coffee. So there you go. But nice. I commented on there because I was like, who is this child at the beginning with the Spurs hat on and stuff? I'm like, that is a child up there, a child Wayno.
Bro, I had
the illustrious salt and pepper that we have now.
Yeah, I had hair, brings a tear to my eye.
That's it, man. But Drew, I mean, we've been there, man. It's fun. Like, people don't really appreciate how much work it goes into creating a podcast or creating live events, as we've had a few of them. We have some more coming up at Grind City Brewing, including next Saturday, the 21st, against the Miami Heat. People don't appreciate how much work actually goes into that. And so I know you can. And so kudos to y'all for making that and making that event happen. It did look like a ton of fun. So shout out to y'all, and shout out to King Meeks and everybody watching. If you're in the comments, we want to know, what's the best thing that happened to you over the weekend? Y'all let us know here now. If you're watching this back later, drop it in the comments on YouTube. We do check those. Helps us in the algorithm as well. So let us know what the best thing was for your weekend, and we want to know. So y'all let us know. For me, you said it in the opener, man. I am done moving. I have got all my stuff over here. I ain't got to move anything anymore. Now it's just a part of getting settled. Maggie and I took Sunday. She painted this beautiful wall back here behind us, this navy blue. We're going to put some stuff up. This kind of us. There's going to be some Harry Potter and some Grizzlies and a few other things up there. So y'all stay tuned for that. Unfortunately, and this should be my beef of the week, I guess, Stone Cold was not permitted. So Stone Cold has to wait until a man cave. I know. I fought. And she said there is room for one other person in this house. And it's either you or it's Stone Cold Steve Austin. So Stone Cold's in the storage unit, and I'm here.
You put him on the fridge or something? Like,
no. I don't think you appreciate how big this Stone Cold is. Like, it's a big Stone Cold cutout. It ain't just like a little one. Like, if it was a little one, I could probably get away with it. But this big Stone Cold is in the storage unit right now. But
Maggie rules, man.
That's it, man. Hey, listen, I would rather live here than my storage unit. So let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But I cleaned out the garage. We're super productive this weekend and just getting settled. But it's just nice to not have to move anymore. Like, it's just done and we're settled, man. It's so nice. So what goes up must come down. Although King Meeks had a great weekend hanging out with his cousins, watching the game yesterday. Super Bowl Sunday here in America is fun. It's a great time to bring people together. Great time to have parties. I had my buffalo chicken dip, another best of the weekend. Maggie got some from Trader Joe's, pre-made. It was fire. I didn't even have to make it, and it was still really good. We had enchiladas last night. They were great. Got to watch the Super Bowl. It was a ton of fun, and that is a good weekend here in America. But what goes up must come down, Wayno. What is your biggest beef?
My biggest beef is my dog right now, who's tapping at the door to go out like 6 times. So I'm going to go do that. You go first, and I'll be back.
Sounds good. So while he's letting out Moose Man, my biggest beef of the weekend is kind of a continuation. And King Meeks, I know you can appreciate this because you're here in Memphis, and everybody else is here in the Mid-South can appreciate this. But the snow and ice are finally melting. And for the first time in almost 3 weeks, they finally picked up our garbage this morning. And like, I wheeled out the garbage can last night. Maggie helped me carry because we were overflowing. There's so much stuff. You know how it is when you move and you throw away and you condense stuff, like you're getting rid of a lot of stuff. I bet that garbage can weighs 600 pounds trying to wheel it down the driveway to the road last night. And I'm just like, I catch it, I'm wheeling it, and it would catch a little bump in the driveway, and it would like pull me to a stop, and I'd have to like put both cheeks into pulling it over. And it's just like, I'm like conservatively, I think it was 600 pounds. We carried all stuff out, but shout out to the sanitation workers in the great city of Memphis for getting our garbage out of here this morning. We're finally able to thaw out enough to go do that. And they ran for the first time in almost 3 weeks. So it was like just carrying that thing down the road, down the driveway was the biggest beef of my weekend by far.
You know what I've been laughing about in my head all week is like everything's been like frozen and stuff recently over there is the poor person who has to go to Uncle Buck's place and all these frozen nappies there, man. All these frozen nappies.
Yeah.
That have started to like unfreeze a bit, you know? Like,
yeah.
So God bless them. God bless those workers.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So other than Moose needing to go out mid-show, and hang on real quick, King Meek's like, you can say that your 49ers should have been there all you wanted. The Seahawks were the most dominant team in football. They were the rightful NFC representatives. If they could have represented the AFC, maybe, but the Seahawks were the best team by far. So
they got
anyway,
an Aussie kicker too, right?
They do have an Aussie kicker, and he was amazing last night. Amazing. Yeah.
I saw his interview afterwards, and he started mentioning about getting some fish and chips with some chicken salt. You guys have chicken salt there? Mm-hmm. Oh, I can't wait to expose you guys to that. It's such a like a Aussie.
So the Aussie kicker was really great for Seattle, and the Super Bowl MVP is from Arlington, Tennessee, just right outside of Memphis. So there's two great connections there. Kenneth Walker III, 135 yards rushing last night, former Arlington Tiger, and he was a menace in high school as a football player. I had a buddy that taught him, so he was a great kid, but that's just an incredible football player. So awesome. Australia and Memphis both represented well last night.
There you go. My beef of the week, funnily enough, related back to my dog. So we recently got a new vet. They had a company come and take over our local veterinary place. Now, my dog, he is a German Shorthair Pointer. His name is actually Milo. Mm-hmm. But I train him, so I get to call him what he wants. So it's Moose. Once a year, we do a lot of training out. We do a lot of training out and about and in the bush and in the fields and whatnot. And GSPs are really sturdy dogs like that. Mm-hmm. Rarely have health issues and stuff like that. They're a lot of work, but they're like very sturdy dogs. But once a year, he'll get like irritation. It's just like with the seasonal change and whatever the grass is letting off at the time, and he gets irritated. So this happens once a year. What usually happens, I take him up, he gets a small dose of antibiotics, and it clears, and cool, good for another 12 months. They get this new mob up there. I'm up there and talking to them, and I'm explaining the situation, and they don't want to give me antibiotics for him. They want to put him on like a tablet, and then I'm like, and ointments and stuff like that. I'm like, can you just look at the records? I was like, you'll see this time every year, I'll be around this date. And I said, I don't want to waste my time with the other stuff. I would just want to give him antibiotics, and they didn't want to do that. And what's happened? Brought him home. It cost me nearly $500, mind you. Yeah, and
it's a lot of dingo dollars.
Yeah. And look, I do it because that's my boy. I love him.
Oh, absolutely. Without even hesitating.
What I told them was going to happen happened. It looked like it was clearing, and then it just come back, and I've just wasted $500. And now I got to take him up, and I got to wring some people's necks to get the antibiotics for him. It's just super frustrating. It's just like, don't waste my time. Like, you can see a pattern there. You can see what they've administered in the past. It's just that they're a new mob, and it's like, I also don't want. They're so close to me. I don't want to have to go find a new vet.
Sure. I had a German Shepherd. I had a German Shepherd that was similar. Every summer, she would get hot spots like nobody's business. It'd be under her collar, under an arm, under a back leg. Like every summer, she was good for one or two pretty gnarly hot spots. And it was just one of those things like you just had to keep hot spot spray on hand because you just knew it was going to happen. And some dogs are just prone to things like that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my beef. Just new vets, not listening, costing me money. Sucks.
We'll be at the vet this afternoon, as I talked about this morning on the Daily Grind, with our boy Boone. T's and P's for Boone over here as he lays on the floor next to me, being the best little boy. Having a back leg issue. Hopefully it's just a calf contusion like the rest of the Memphis Grizzlies are facing now, apparently. But
he'll be back 4 to 6 weeks. He'll be back.
Yeah, that's it. 4 to 6 weeks, he'll be back to normal. Hopefully it's sooner than that. Hopefully we get some good answers this afternoon and some good medication to help with our boy. But speaking of beefs, we got to talk about the Memphis Grizzlies. Yeah, what a setup. As we come out of talking about our biggest beef, we get to roll right into the Memphis Grizzlies, who are now 20-31 on this NBA season, Wayno, after, depending on your perspective, right? If you watched it this weekend, expecting the Grizzlies to be competitive and fighting for playoff spots, I imagine you're having a pretty rough Monday. But if you're smart like the rest of us and you think, hey, I'm going to watch this for other things that we'll get into here in a little bit in our survival guide, you probably didn't mind it too much, as the Grizzlies went 0-2 on the weekend, wrapping up this 10-game stretch at 3-7, and we're now 0-1 in our newest edition of the Beale Street Heat Check. Wayne, what was your thoughts about the weekend?
Ooh, lots of thoughts. Shout out to Jared and Evan. I recorded with both those guys on the post-game bounce.
As always.
Yeah, man, they were a lot of fun. I've never recorded with Evan as well before, so I was looking forward to that. And we had a real fun conversation. Both gentlemen were excellent. So if you want a real in-depth analyst look at those games, go check those clips out. What did I think? I'm just trying to be really level-headed. Like when we recorded early before the trade deadline, my MO was kind of like, well, I'm just looking. The trade deadline will really tell us where we're headed. It's really going to tell us, are we headed for a full rebuild, or are they just going to kind of tweak this and keep it moving? And we got our answer. They traded Jared. Jar is still here, obviously, but it's definitely a new direction. So with a new direction, I think comes a new perspective on the team. Look, we're playing the end of our bench and G Leaguers, and
they're playing 20+ minutes every night, and that's just where we're at and how it has to be. And
there's a reason. Yeah, there's a reason why they're there. With a full roster, there's a reason why they're in those places. So you can't expect flawless games. You are going to have to expect. You're going to have to expect defensive lapses and scores being given up because they just don't have it yet. So for me, it's more of a developmental watch. I kind of treat it like a preseason game, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's a good way to be. Yeah, because which we'll get into towards the end with our survival guide for sure. Shout out Edward, King Meeks, AC Surreal here. Your AC Surreal's Tankathon sim went better than mine. Luke simmed it this morning live on the air, and his first overall pick was the Grizzlies taking Darren Peterson. I was like, oh, let me sim it. So I simmed it, and my first spin, it was Oklahoma City via the Clippers getting Darren Peterson, and we were drafting 9th. So I like Luke's a whole lot better. I like AC Surreal's here a whole lot better than mine with Oklahoma City in it. But you said it, man. Like if you are watching this, and I see this a lot on X, like people are crashing out during games on X over Omax taking 15 shots and Jalen having to play out of position and, and all these different things. And it's like my brother in Christ, Jemai Mashak is getting minutes at the 5 and he is 6'3". That's where we're at. Like if you're getting this upset over a full on tank when like it's all right there in front of you, the organization is heading in a way where we're trying to lose basketball games kind of on purpose to where we can get a better lottery odds. So like, I'm not going to sit here and lose sleep and get upset and go be overly dramatic and emotional on X. Instead, that's a great perspective. Treat it like a preseason game, right? In the preseason, you want GG taking 17 shots. You want Omax running up and down the floor, getting minutes at the 3, 4, and 5, going 7 from 8 for 3. Are you kidding me? Like, if we got that once a month or like once every other month for Omax, that's incredible value at the end of your bench. And so like watch it for what it is, a developmental season, and your mental health will be in a much better position.
Yeah, and I said on both those back-to-back shows that it was, for me, it was about making diamonds. And how do you make diamonds? You add pressure. And for our core guys, that Zach Kleiman mentioned in his presser, those Edie's, those Seds, Cam, I'll throw Cam in there, why not?
Yeah.
It's all about them carrying the weight now and what that looks like for them and how they deal with those moments, because there's no safety net of Jared there. There's no safety net of a jar. You know what I mean? So, so for me, it's interesting who takes those steps. We've got a little over 30 games left. It's going to be a bit of a slug. So you just got to look for those silver linings right now.
Yeah, and that's it. And there are some silver linings there. Again, on Saturday night, Omax went 7 of 8 from 3. Need I remind you? Like, that was an incredible. Are you kidding me? Like, if we get that again once a month, once every other month, and I know that's probably an anomaly and not going to happen a whole lot, but that was a hell of a lot of fun on Saturday night to watch that. Cedric Coward is still getting in there, getting quality minutes in leverage situations where he is playing good basketball. Gigi had 8 rebounds. Walter Clayton Jr., before he came up a little bit lame on Saturday, had 7 assists. Like, if you're 7 assists and 2 turnovers in 28 minutes, from a rookie, that's a really good assist to turnover ratio. And if you can start seeing some of that develop, they're going to be fun to watch, much like 2 years ago when Gigi was going for 40 and 44 points and getting a shout out from Shaq. And that season was kind of fun if you appreciate it for what it is. Yeah.
And I have to admit, I had totally forgotten, Rusty. I've forgotten how much I loved Slow-Mo's game.
I knew that was coming.
I don't know, man. Like, he just
11 points, 6 boards.
Bro.
He is what he is. He's got the slowest release in the history of the NBA. He just kind of moseys up and down the court. But the guy is a good, savvy vet, man.
Bro, he had this one drive. It was like watching stop motion. You could watch the stop motion and he got the foul, the layup, and I was like, that guy is just amazing. Keep him around just for novelty. Like, I love Slow-Mo. Like,
and then you're going to go off in the group chat about Jemai Meshack, how he's not impressing you or whatever.
Right.
And immediately, and he had 6. Then he had 6. He had 6 steals that night.
I was hoping you wouldn't bring it up. Actually,
I was saving it. I was typing it in the group chat, and I was like, "Nah, I'm going to save this for the air."
Dude, I know you screenshotted that, and you're going to wear that on a tee as we meet up in Memphis. But
absolutely, when you get off the plane, instead of having a sign with your name on it, I'm going to have a sign that says the guy who prematurely hated on Jemai Meshack.
Yeah, that was me. I called him Eddie Griffin with dreads. So
yeah, you said his arms don't work. He's like a broken G.I. Joe with an Eddie Griffin head, and I'm like,
you got the quote there.
I've got to pull it up right here. I'm like, buddy, he had 6 steals playing center.
Keeping receipts. I see how it is.
Hey, ask Uncle Bug about it. I kept my Zach Edey receipts for a long time.
That's very true. I should know better.
Steel trap.
I will just say, fans of the Grizzlies team, we're allowed to feel how we feel also, because as I said, I think on the last show, it was like no fan is fooled by these injuries. I mean, if you watch I think the frustrating thing for me is I watched that Indiana game yesterday, and Johnny Furby went down with the injury.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it was like your heart stopped, like you're like, oh no, like he threw down that dunk and just came down and it just gave, and he went down in a heap.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see Rick Carlisle come across, and like he was all, like stressing and whatnot, and you really felt for him. And I think like the hardest thing to swallow is half of our injuries we don't even see.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like we don't see half these guys on this injured list.
You knew when Murphy got hurt. You knew when Jimmy Butler got hurt. You knew when Dame got hurt. Hallie got hurt. Our guys, you don't see it. That's a good point.
It's just a dumb report that throws another guy like Santi. Like, when did Santi get injured?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Did this happen when from the walk to the court to the locker room?
Do you remember the old show? I don't know if y'all had this or not, but growing up in the late 80s, early 90s here in America, we had the American Gladiators. Have you ever seen that? That's essentially what our practices are. They shoot Nerf balls at each other, hit each other with big Nerf sticks, and try to knock each other off pedestals. Like, they don't practice basketball. It's a full-on American Gladiators, WWE style practice is the only thing I can think of with the way our dudes get hurt.
Yeah, we had the Australian gladiators, which is you joust from the pouches of kangaroos and dodge the drop bears coming through, and you throw baby crocs at each other.
And the magpies come and try and take your eyes out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I do think we can all agree on this. Taylor Hendricks has had a rough start to his Memphis Grizzlies career.
I've seen comparisons to him to like a young Jared Jackson Jr. And I was like, you know what? I just don't see that at all. Like a smaller version of that. I'm like, I don't see that. I see a really raw GG Jackson, if anything. I don't know that that's a good thing. I know he's coming off like a pretty
GG from last year, right? Like last year's GG.
Rookie GG Jackson.
Well, at least rookie GG could give you 40 points with 28 shots. Like
he does.
This feels like last year's GG.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not going to say I'm not a fan, but I'm just it's a big old question mark because that feels like a longer development line, you know. Just if he doesn't bring something to the table, he's got 30 games. Okay, he's got roughly 30 games. He's got to start bringing it because he won't find himself on the roster otherwise.
Yeah, and even in college, like he played for UCF and they played Memphis a lot. And Kenny's talked about him in some group chats where it was just like, even in college, like you could tell, like there's flashes, but he's really, really, really raw. And the worst thing that could have happened to him was breaking his leg last year and missing all of his rookie season. It's just hard to kind of come back from that. And Southpaw says that here's probably a reason he was a throw-in. It's very clear who Zach Kleiman targeted in that trade from a personnel standpoint. Obviously, we wanted the 3 picks. But he spoke very highly of Walter Clayton Jr., who, again, before coming up lame on Saturday night, was having a good game. 7 assists to 2 turnovers. That's worth repeating again. That's good numbers for a rookie point guard. And so it was obvious that's who we were targeting, that ZK in the front office was pretty high on him. I get it. But, like, Hendricks has not been good. And I don't know that he has a place on this team going forward. And we're also maybe so because our runway is longer. But it all depends on what we get in the draft, right? If you get an opportunity to go take a swing at a big guy like a Cam Boozer or Caleb Wilson, who was also giving me some Jaren vibes the other night in that North Carolina Duke game, Taylor Hendricks will be very short-lived in a Grizzlies uniform.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be supposed to move him down to the G League and see what he can do down there and let him go. Like give him 10, 15 games down there and then bring him back and see what we got. See what we're working with.
I don't know. Let me see what he's obviously on a rookie contract, which is a 4-year, $28 million deal, fully guaranteed around. He's $6.3 million per year. Obviously this is the second year of it. This is the third year of it. And then he's an unrestricted free agent in 27-28. So he's got one more year on his deal, $7.8 million for next year.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, you got to give these new additions, I suppose, a little bit of leeway. We had some solid vets who had trouble at the start of the season figure out this offense and where to be. Sure. You know, Walter Clayton Jr. I thought he played pretty well for a guy who wasn't playing in Utah, and to be thrown into the mix and boom, you got court minutes. Let's go. New system, new team, like that's a lot for any player. So, in that sense, I thought, everyone did okay and I give a lot of leeway, but I don't know about him, man. I just, some guys you could just tell off the bat and I was just like,
he doesn't
Walter Clayton Jr., what do you think of his game?
I do like it. Like I see flashes. There's potential there. Super, super raw. Super, super raw. But he's getting, like you talk about, like guys who took some time to get a hold of the system. I felt like he had a pretty good command of it from a point guard standpoint. Again, 7 assists, 2 turnovers, and a high-paced offense where we're averaging 17 to 18 turnovers a game. We had Saturday night, we had 14, which is a good night for us. And again, he only had 2 of them. Adding on top of that 7 assists, like that's a pretty good night for a guy who was basically made an afterthought by Keontae George's really, really great emergence this year. Isaiah Collier still being really good for Utah. I like what I see with Walter Clayton Jr. I think there's something to work on there. I still think that like it's gonna be a long process, but I like what I see from him.
He actually reminded me a bit of Scottie Pippen Jr.
That's a good but bigger.
Yeah, in a sense of I suppose this is the thing that surprised me the most about his game. He just seemed very in control and played at his own pace a bit, which I liked, which you want from your point guards.
He's very cool-headed like Scottie Pippen Jr. Doesn't feel like he's getting swallowed up.
You know, especially with the bigs, like sometimes I feel like a bit out of control, you know, bounce, you know, like when you play someone who hasn't played basketball before and they're bouncing the ball like way above their head and stuff. And
like they're trying to, they're like, I saw somebody, it's like you've discovered the ball just had air in it for the first time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I like the fact that he was like very under control. And I think, yeah, you're right. Like there's a lot to work with that kid, I think. And I think he might find himself sticking around a bit longer.
I could see him being the next Scottie Pippen Jr., where he just keeps playing, keeps getting better to the point where you have to give him minutes. Because that's what Scottie did. Scottie was just like a plug and play guy. And then he worked his way up into a smaller role. And then he worked his way up into the backup point guard. And then he worked his way into cooking as much as he could in a game 4 when we were way outmanned against Oklahoma City in the playoffs. And like, I could see a similar path for Walter Clayton Jr. over the next couple of years where it's just a slow development. And then all of a sudden we're looking up and he's a 15-point, 11 assist guy, you know, most nights.
We had Scottie back for one game.
That's what's going to happen. So prepare yourself. We'll talk about this. Is one of my points in the survival guide here at the end. This is one of my points, but like tonight we get Scottie Pippen Jr. back. Like last night, you know, Saturday night we had Ty and not Scottie. Like they're going to kind of play this out to where they're managing injuries. And so we're going to have some nights without one, some nights without both, some with both. Prepare thyself because it's going to be a lot of that going forward.
Yeah.
But speaking of going forward, tonight the Memphis Grizzlies do take on the Golden State Warriors in Oakland, where we are at 8-point underdog over on FanDuel, the official odds provider of Bluff City Media. Grizzlies are plus 245 on the money line. Not pretty, not looking good. It's a late tip. I'm just telling y'all, like, prepare yourselves. It's going to be a long back half of the season if you're expecting us to go out and be competitive and win a whole bunch of games. What are your early thoughts on the Grizzlies here?
Yeah, I'm taking the Grizz. I don't care.
Hey, go win you some money on FanDuel. If you're into it, man, take the Grizz on the money line. Plus 245. Let's go.
I'll go without coffee for a couple of days. All right. I've spent more on less, okay? Yeah, look, my biggest concern, I brought this up with you yesterday, is I'm actually worried that Draymond Green is like a brain fart away from doing something stupid on the court. And
I mean, he's clearly got CTE. He's walking CTE. So,
oh man, because I've been watching him. I've been watching a few Golden State games over the last, last week, or keeping an eye on him, I should say. Watched 2 Golden State full games and then just kept the eye on the rest. But he's just doing stuff on the court that looks like the last time that I played basketball. And that is the frustration kicks in. You're playing against these young guys who are quicker and faster than you, and you have to resort to the old man tactics. And sometimes that involves dropping an elbow, dropping a shoulder here and there. Unfortunately, we got quite a young squad, and I don't want to see any of our guys get injured. I don't want to see him hurt any of our young guys because I don't think I could take another 4 to 6 weeks injury off anyone. So, yeah, it'll be interesting because on one hand, you go, they traded for Kuminga, who's not playing. Oh, sorry, they traded Kuminga, who wasn't playing, for Porzingis, who's not playing.
Yeah.
So, and then they got Jimmy Butler out, so I'm not
Steph's
even
out
sure.
tonight. They don't have Steph either tonight.
So I'm just a bit worried. The frustration is going to kick in because Draymond's, he's going to be frustrated with his team because they're not performing, to his expectations. Plus, he was already on his last podcast talking trash about Memphis. I'm so sick of this guy. And you know what? To be honest, like I'm looking forward to them having no dirt on our team.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like there's a world where this is building up to one of Draymond's classic getting tossed in the first quarter, where he's just frustrated, vents, like it just gets ran out of the building because no Steph, no KP, no Jimmy Butler. Like he's going to be playing with Pat Spencer, DeAnthony Melton, Pods, Moses Moody, Al Hortford, Wee Santos. Like there's not really a great supporting cast around him. So this feels like a night where Draymond's going to take a night off and could get run in the first quarter. And I wouldn't hate that because then that would give us a chance to play, because if you're out there with that buffoon, there's always a chance somebody's going to get hurt with him doing his just flailing about that he likes to do.
Yeah.
But if you feel good about the Grizzlies' chances, as Wayno's talking about here, also over on FanDuel, you can get a same-game parlay with a 25% profit boost right now on FanDuel for all NBA same-game parlays. I like this one, Wayno. I've got Ty Jerome over 20.5 in a points, rebounds, and assists total. So that's he could do that with just points if he wants to, but it'd be like a 17.5 assist, 17.5 assists, 1 or 2 rebounds tonight, and you nailed it, right? So I like that one. Cam Spencer, 4+ assists. His assists have been ticking up as of late, and I think tonight would be a good night for him to go out, and he'll be competing against his brother. And if we know anything about a Cam Spencer game with a chip on his shoulder and something to prove, good things happen. And then lastly, Cedric Coward, 6+ rebounds. He's gone over 6+ rebounds in 4 of his last 5 games. This will get you plus 337 odds with a 25% FanDuel same game parlay boost. What do you think, Wayno? Is this good stuff?
I don't mind it. I like it. I think all achievable goals there. So yeah, I dig it.
Sweet. We are going to talk about Cohen's comments. Smooth Southpaw. We've talked a little bit about it, that we're cheering on the team. Like we talked about that. But on the other side of this commercial break, we do want to talk about how to survive a tank. You know, we're not used to tanking in Memphis. We're a competitive basketball team. We have been for many, many years. A lot of things that we do well, and we're usually a competitive team. So this is our first time to really be tanking in a while. So Wayno and I took some time this weekend to kind of think about ways to survive a tank, ways that we can help y'all and help us survive the rest of this season when it's not going to go well. Is that fair to say, Wayno?
Yeah, a survival guide, if you will. Yeah,
exactly. So stick with us after this brief commercial break, and we're going to help prepare you for the rest of this Memphis Grizzlies season.
In Memphis, we know a thing or two about resilience. From the grindhouse to the Delta, we protect what's ours. But when pests invade your home, it's time to fight back. Grade A Pest knows how to handle what crawls, flies, and bites. With local experience and guaranteed results.
I'm Reggie with Grade A Pest Control. We service the Memphis metro area. That also includes DeSoto and Fayette County as well.
Grade A Pest has the entire Mid-South covered. So if bugs and pests put you to the test, let Grade A solve your problem.
A week ago today, we all thought that, okay, maybe things are really done and dusted for good after losing to Tulane. But, man, what a difference a week can make. Believe it or not, despite all of the, setbacks that they've suffered in conference play alone, a top 2 seed in the American Conference Tournament in March is still very much in play.
Tigers are not out of it. The sky hasn't fallen yet regarding this team. Everything is still technically ahead of them. That's the positive spin, no matter how poorly the season has gone up to this point.
It's hard to deny that Memphis is finding a bit more of a rhythm right now. You see a rotation settling in a lot more. You're seeing Penny at long last finally just cut guys clean out of it like he promised to do months ago. But nonetheless, he's finally doing it. Memphis is seemingly finding something here.
Tune in to Tigers Live with Francis Carlotta, live after every Memphis Tiger basketball game on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
just not playing our best guys down the stretch. Ty Jerome did not play the last. He played exactly 20 minutes tonight. He didn't play again. He didn't play after the 8-minute mark.
Controversial take. I already think Ty Jerome is better than Bane. But, after his 2 first games where he just blew us out of the water and we're like, this is what we've been missing all season. Today I had my first bit of criticism for him, especially in that end of the 3rd and 4th. And it's like he just has to trust his teammates a bit more. I know it's a bit hard when we're playing the end of the bench plus G Leaguers with him, but he got a little gun happy and I was just like, just 1 or 2 more kickouts. And I think we would have done what we haven't done with Jar and Jaren, and that is build a lead and maintain it.
Tune into the post-game bounce live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel immediately after every Memphis Grizzlies game for instant reactions and breakdowns. In Memphis, nothing comes easy, and that's exactly how we like it. This is a city built on hustle, on heart, on grit. And at Carway, our rides are built the same way. Tough, reliable, ready for the grind. No games, no gimmicks, just Memphis-style service. Real, honest, and built on trust. Where grit meets grind, you meet your next ride. Carway, grit, grind, and Pink Beetles.
Welcome back to the 2 Bucks Sports Show, proudly partnered with FanDuel, Carway Automotive Group, Mugshots, Grind City Brewing, and Pest Control. Oh my gosh, just blanked on it. Appreciate Reggie and the gang over there as well. Thank y'all for hanging out with us today on this Monday. We've talked about the Grizzly games over the weekend, giving you our best and beef of the weekend. Now it's time to talk about the future, Wayno. And I've seen King makes his comments. I do want to get to the 3-point contest. I do want to get to I want to get to the expansion teams and that sort of stuff. But today we're doing a service to the fans of the Memphis Grizzlies, right? This was your idea. Like, you called it a survival guide. I said, let's look for some things to root for. So we're here to help y'all. Yeah, we're here to help y'all survive a tank in Memphis, right?
Yeah, it's how to survive in the wilderness. That is a tanking end of the year season. Yeah.
That's it. So what we're going to talk about now is how to survive a tank in Memphis. We can all watch the rest of the season, be emotional, be upset, be frustrated with how the team's going, and that's a way to watch it. You can certainly choose to do that. Wayno and I are very optimistic guys. We're very positive guys. We like to look glass half full at things, I think. And so we're going to give you some things to look for and root for throughout the last half of the year, starting with, for me, Wayno, my first one is at least we're not tanking like the Jazz are tanking. So you look at us and how we're constructed. We're playing a bunch of role guys, G League guys, young players, getting minutes and opportunities. If I'm a Jazz fan, I'm a little bit pissed because that Magic game over the weekend was crazy work. They were playing really well in Jaren's debut for the Jazz, cooking the Magic for 3 quarters. They were up by like 16 or something in the 3rd quarter before shutting down Jaren and Markkanen and like a few other guys for the night. And they ultimately lost the game against the Magic. So my first one on how to survive a tank is just be grateful that we're not Jazz fans.
Yeah, that was kind of like the equivalent of like having a bath and all of a sudden like the plug gets pulled out or knocked out. You just sit there like, oh, where did it all go? Like that game was crazy. Like, yeah. And you know what? A lot of people noticed a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a fine coming their way because there was no reason for it either. That was the thing. There's no reason. So, yeah, if you're going to tank, at least do it the right way.
Yeah, that's it. And I think like one way to kind of correct that is looking at the lottery process as a whole, right? One idea that I saw of how to correct the NBA lottery as a way to kind of remove some of the incentive of tanking and being so bad. And I get it. Southpaw's got a point. The Jazz are in prime position for ping pong balls. I get that. And they want to keep that. That's fine. But that was an egregiously obvious tank. And so I saw this on X. I'm going to give credit where credit's due. Shout out to Fast Break Breakfast, Keith Parrish. He's got some shows that cover the Memphis Grizzlies as well. Grit Grinds, Fast Break Breakfast covers the NBA. But he threw out this idea that they do it as a point system. And I like the point system because I disagree with AC Surreal. I think it does need to be reviewed because, like, we want competitive games. Fans pay big money to go watch their teams win, watch their favorite players play. And so he threw out a lottery point system. And I think it can start after the All-Star break, right? Because you can tank early if you want to. That's fine. But then starting with the All-Star break, anytime you beat a team with a better record than you, you get a lottery point. The lottery is then non-playoff teams ordered by lottery points. So if we beat the Warriors tonight, we would get a lottery point. To me, the only way to then game the system is to tank early in the season. That's fine. Good luck with that. You still have to win on the back half. It takes away some of the incentive of losing and forces these teams to be fun, like Portland was last year. You remember down the stretch, Portland played themselves out of lottery position because they got hot and were winning games, but how much fun were they? We talked about that Portland team last year. They were talking about them as the NBA at large. That's a much more fun way to finish the season than watching your teams just, go out there and purposefully boo-boo in the bed every night.
Yeah. I don't have the fix for it. I think the best one I've heard was from Lee Ellis of, if anyone watches No Dunks show. And I can't remember quite what his take was, so I would recommend go checking that out. But I agree with the philosophy of it, which is stop rewarding bad teams.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, stop rewarding these bad teams because you're only breeding more bad teams, and you want these teams to turn around. So if you're playing like trash, why should you get the lottery pick? That should come down to like an organizational pool to bring in better players, to up your development team, to look at how you're actually structured. How long has Sacramento been bad for?
Yeah.
What's the last good team they had?
And that's where like this idea of like the lottery points can help because it forces a winning culture down the stretch instead of getting stuck in that cycle of losing, but gets losing. And that's why guys like Bradley Beal struggle when you leave a losing franchise like Washington, you go somewhere else, you can't be that good because all you know how to do is lose. That's why Lauri Markkanen made me nervous coming to Memphis. I wanted him in Memphis, but it makes me nervous because he's never been an actual winner. And so lottery point system is just an idea to try and fix it. What is your first survival guide tip?
All right. So my first one is, look, any team tanking, I mean, you need a compass, right? You need a compass. You're out there camping in the wilderness. You need an injury report. You need an injury report before every game to know how serious the team is on the day. That way you know how much to invest on a daily basis.
I like that.
Use your compass being the injury report, and that should help navigate at least that next 48 minutes.
I like that. That's a good barometer to measure because I told y'all in the group chat one night when we started John Conchar at the 5 that one night, and I said in the group chat, I'm not taking this game serious because they're clearly not. And Drew got all upset at me about saying that. I don't care. Like for me, that's a great compass because if you look at that, knowing Jitty starting at the 5, we started Meshack Saturday night. He got minutes at the 5. Like you look at the injury report and it's like, okay, tonight they may try and win this game. And tonight might be one of those nights. The only one that's really listed on there, Walter Clayton Jr. is questionable. You got Santi, BC, Edie, and Ja are all out. Everybody else, Jalen and Sed didn't play Saturday night. They're going to play tonight. So tonight might be a game to get invested in.
You know what I would say? Southpaw, great comment. What I would say to this is instead of sitting us through even more games, make this summer league. Turn this to summer league.
Yeah.
You watch the level of play, you watch all those rookies, like move your summer league, and that's your journey. That's your journey.
You know, honestly, like they used to do the winner of the All-Star game for MLB got home field advantage in the World Series. If you want to make Summer League really fun, make that the draft lottery process. In the Summer League, you go out and you win Summer League, you get the first overall pick. It makes it more competitive and fun.
Yeah.
I don't hate that idea. So we've got at least we're not the Jazz, and use the injury report as your compass to guide you. So for me, you can still, and this goes up to the point earlier, I think it was at Smooth Southpaw. Where was it at? Where he said, based on the Kiwis' comments, are you guys cheering on losses and hating the wins going forward? So for me, the best way to survive a tank is to root for a winning mentality and don't worry about the results. So what I mean is watch the team play hard. Watch them run plays, get sets, get back defensively, hustle to protect the rim, go after loose balls. Jamal Meshack getting 6 steals Saturday night. Look for competitive effort and winning mentality, and then let the results be what they are. I can take a team who goes out there and competes their tail off, but loses to better teams, which most teams in the NBA are better than us right now. I would put us in the bottom 4 or 5 teams in the NBA right now, just because we don't have half of our players. And we can still go out and be competitive. And on some nights, you're going to slip up and win. You're going to beat Minnesota, right? You're going to go out and you might beat San Antonio. You might beat Golden State with a competitive effort. But if you're cheering for a winning mentality, competitive effort, don't let the wins and losses bother you.
Yeah, I touched on this during the first Portland game on the post-game show. And my whole take is I don't like tanking. I don't like the idea of tanking. I think that just breeds more rubbish.
Losing.
Have the table set before you serve dinner. Mm-hmm. So set the culture, set the winning mentality now. So when those new rookies come in, they're ready to go. Not when they sit down to dinner.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is where Tomas's short-term results can get better.
Yeah.
Right? Because like you can see improvements in a Gigi Jackson or a Walter Clayton Jr. or a Jamal Meshack or an Omax or Ty Jerome or whoever's playing. Like you can see improvements there for a better short-term result, even if we go 3-7 in our next 10-game stretch, or we go 1-9. Doesn't matter as long as people are getting better in the competitive efforts there. And like AC Sorrell says here, the fellas are playing hard. That's all we've been asking for all along. Well, you know, is for the guys just to play hard, because we've got a moody superstar who doesn't do that. But if you represent the name on the front of the jersey well, I will be able to cheer for you and have a better back half of the season.
Yeah. Look, we're out camping. We got our compass. I think, you know, some days be pretty bright. I think we need some protective eyewear. So we're out there strolling. So protective eyewear, we need a bit of perspective, guys. Bit of perspective on where this team actually is. So appropriate eyewear. We are, like we've said, we are rebuilding stage now. Mm-hmm. The page has been turned. So our expectations need to be as such. We're playing end of the bench players and our G League guys. So, you know, there's going to be slip-ups. They're not going to be flawless for 48 minutes. And we just kind of look for those silver linings like we've mentioned throughout most of the show. Yeah.
Like Walter Clayton Jr.'s potential and the grit that he plays with. The fact that Omax gave you 7 for 8 from 3 the other night. Wearing regular glasses without the rose-colored lenses. Look, we're going to call a spade a spade. This team's not good. We're not going to win a bunch of games, Edward. You're right. But you can still see the little improvements and have the perspective of like, hey, next year when you've got Edie back starting, you've got Cedric playing at a higher level, you've added Debansa, Peterson, you know, Wagler, Boozer, whoever, Flemings in the draft, they're playing more minutes, and you move the guys back, Omax and these guys back into the roles they're supposed to be in, they're going to be better for it, and we'll once again have a really good bench. So you can look at it and say, hey, these guys are getting better. We ain't winning games, but our bench is getting better for next year.
Yeah, just you don't need the rose-colored glasses, just the Beale Street blue color, you know? Just be cool.
There it is. Beale Street blue. Be cool. You can also enjoy college basketball season as a way to get through tanking, because look, like we are eyes on the future here. We're talking about perspectives. Our bench players get better for next year. Tomas getting more comfortable coaching games. We're talking about things that are going to be for the future. That Duke North Carolina game on Saturday night was electric. Just incredible college basketball, highly competitive, two really good prospects that I can see it with. Cameron Boozer is that dude. Caleb Wilson is becoming that dude. He's shooting the ball at a much higher level, like protecting the rim. Like, go watch. Yeah, go watch. Yeah, I mean, he's super young, super raw. Young. But like, do yourself a favor. If you don't, you hear me say it, Wayno's telling us to pump the brakes on this draft class because they're all going to be rookies and they're super young. Do what I'm doing. I'm going through and like anytime I see Illinois or Houston or Arkansas or Duke or Carolina, Kansas are playing, I circle that and I go watch that game because one of those dudes is very likely to be in Beale Street Blue next year. So go watch these kids play with an eye on the future.
Yeah. Well, look, we're out on our camping trip, out in the wilderness again. We've got our set, most of our setup. It's hitting that time, you don't want to eat too early, so you might need to take something to read, something to entertain you with. So to kind of touch on that, Rusty, just keep a mock draft real close to you. Plenty of them going around.
I like it.
It's a tough season. It's a tough end of the season, so something to keep the hopes up. So a nice mock draft's always fun to go through and see who's picking where.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was my next one. My next one is Tankathon. Tankathon can help us get through this tough season because you can look on Tankathon at any point and see where the Memphis Grizzlies are from an odds standpoint. And usually we're moving on the way up. Like we're kind of going up the way to where like currently as we're sitting, we've got the 8th best odds right behind Dallas, slightly ahead of Milwaukee. Up there at the top, if you click mock draft, you can click sim lottery. And my first sim, we got the 8th overall pick. Not what we would hope for, but like you can spin it. And I've seen other people get the first overall pick. In this draft, it was the Pacers, the Wizards, and the Hawks getting the first 3 picks. But you can hit sim lottery as many times as you want until, looky there, the Memphis Grizzlies take Cam Boozer 2nd overall. So you can hit sim lottery to get through this tough time over on Tankathon.
Nice.
What you got? You got another one?
Oh, well, fluids. You got to keep your fluids up. You don't want to be out there dehydrated. So take your beverage of choice, whatever that may look like, to take off the edge. Sometimes you just need to take the edge off all those L's stacking up. So whatever that may be, if it's a bottle of vodka, if it's some bourbon.
As King Meek says here, how to tank here in Memphis is to grill barbecue and drink your drinks. So he's on right on time. Absolutely. Some good water, as Andre says here. Make sure you got something good. I like that. For me, I got one, and it's watching Tomas develop. So here's the thing, guys. Like, let's be adults here, right? The reality is Tomas is likely going to be our coach again next year. Like, it is what it is. I wish that was not the case, if I'm fully honest. I don't really see that as a win for our franchise, but the way it's setting up, T.I. is going to be your coach next year. So his improvement and getting better this year is our benefit next year, the next year. The better he does now in what's an abysmal season at figuring out rotations, I need him to stop being so damn stubborn with these rotations. I'll say that up front. But the better he gets at in-game coaching, the better he gets at substitution, the more comfortable he gets guys with his system, that's only going to bode well for us in the future. So we can, even if you disagree, and I'm right there with you, all that's the case. If you disagree with T.I.'s philosophy, you can still root for his success this year.
Yeah. I'm not going to go into too much stuff because I think I vouched for him enough. And I think I spoke with Evan on the second post-game bounce against Portland just about Tomas and like the positives that he does bring to the team and the improvements we've seen through, the development and what he gets out of the end of his bench. Like, there's not a lot of coaches in this league, I think, that would have. I mean, I can't say as well as him because look at the win-loss records, obviously, but I think there's a lot of other coaches in the league that probably would have flamed out totally. And
100%.
And to be honest, like to be a rookie coach, to stand your ground against a sulky superstar and hold them accountable and not budge, I kind of like that for the new group coming through because you can say what you want about him, but the fact that Jared and Jar were so babied, I think that speaks a lot to how they're finishing up their time in Memphis. What do we see? What were the silver linings this season? We saw Jar sulk and cause a whole ruckus again, and we saw Jared not be that guy who could take over, close the game. Yeah, so I'm interested to see what the outcomes are from the other side of this.
Shout out Cohen. Shout out Cohen. In this pocket of Grizzlies fans, that's what you'll get. There are corners of the franchise that are very doom and gloom right now, very much crashing out with every single game. So hang out with us here. Bluff City Media. We're live at 7:30, 11, and 1, Monday through Friday. Multiple other shows drop throughout the week and get you through this tough season with a positive spin. I've got one more. Wayno, I think you got one more too. What's your survival tip here?
You know what? I'll jump on the end of that last comment there with you, because my last survival tip is, look, we're out in the wilderness, we're camping. It's tough doing it alone, so have some company. All the crew at BCM, man, we love chatting it up. Jump into the comments after the show. I am always floating about chatting with everyone. We had some great after the show comments going and conversations. So if you do want to know a thought on something, hit us up there. If you want to complain about my Ty Jerome Wayne take, thanks Kenny for setting me up on that one. We can do that there as well. So it's tough out there. The tanking forest is vast and wild, so why not do it with a mate?
Yeah, exactly. And that, like, right here at Bluff City Media, we got a bunch of guys who love the Grizzlies, love talking ball. We are hoops heads. Like, I can talk basketball anytime, day or night. Find me on Twitter, buckets_BCM. Talk to us here in the comments. After the comments, we check those after show comments. Like Wayno said, we check those all the time, interact with those. So y'all let us know if you're watching this back and you got thoughts, put them in the comments and we'll talk with you. Not many other platforms will do that with you. Not many other here in Memphis will do that here with you. You drive these shows. You're just as much a part of this as we are. So we appreciate those comments. Keep them coming. And Jared in the comments here stole my last one. I've already talked about watching college basketball, but you got to have another hobby because the Memphis Grizzlies are going to drive you crazy this year. You got to have something else that you're passionate about. And for me, and this is where I love you, Wayno, you my guy, but this is where I miss Uncle Buck a little bit because this is the best week of the year for me. College baseball is back this weekend. And I am so thrilled. Mississippi State, we've had a tough football season. Basketball season's going even worse. The Grizzlies aren't good. My Titans are terrible. Like, sports haven't been great to me lately. But we have an Omaha squad in Mississippi State. We got Kevin O'Connor is the new head coach. Brian O'Connor is the new head coach for Mississippi State from Virginia. He's coming over as a proven winner. We start this weekend against some couple little teams. You got some warm-ups before we actually get to SEC play. But Mississippi State has a really, really good squad. We have an opportunity to go make some noise in the college baseball scene. We got an opportunity to be really, really good this year. And so that's giving me hope. That's giving me hope to where we can be, good at a sport that I like and I follow deeply. And this is usually where Uncle Buck and I would take the last part of our show and say, hey, this is our show. We're going to talk about college baseball. So I do miss that. But baseball is back this weekend. Brian O'Connor is the head coach of Mississippi State, and we're going to be really, really good. So find something else. If it's NASCAR, Daytona's coming up this weekend. Maybe it's college basketball. The Olympics are going on. There's other things to watch besides the Memphis Grizzlies if you get too emotional.
If you're not so invested in Memphis games, it might just become your background. It might just become your background noise for a little bit. Yep. Hey, could you just bring up Jared's second last comment, the doing it with a mate?
Pause.
Buddy. Pause. Big old pause because
and I love that he throws you in there, right?
You want to do it with a mate, hey, that's your thing, man. But here in Oz, I prefer to do it with the Sheila. Okay, Sheila. Okay?
Doing it with a mate. That's on you, Jared. That may be what you do, but that's not for us. And then he's going to throw
Love
up.
you, Jared.
Listen, buddy, we got cooked. Like I just said, Mississippi State basketball is terrible. Acuff had 24 points, 8 assists. Pringle had 11 boards. Like we got dominated on Saturday. For Mississippi, like usually with Mississippi State basketball, like I'm watching the games when they're televised. Now I get the notifications from ESPN when they're over because we're so bad. Like I'm choosing to distance myself from that negativity, something that Grizzlies fans should also possibly consider. But hopefully that helps a little bit, get you through the tank as we are in the midst of what's going to be a rough season for the Memphis Grizzlies. That's for sure. So that's our survival guide to get through the tank. So here's the thing. Tomorrow, if you're up for it again tomorrow until Uncle Buck comes back, tomorrow we'll recap the Warriors game. We'll start looking ahead. I do want to get to King Meeks' comments. He asked about today, the NBA announced that the Board of Governors should be expecting to vote on 2 expansion teams coming up.
Do you want to hear that tomorrow?
We're going to hit that tomorrow. That's what I'm saying. That's going to be tomorrow. Yeah. We're going to talk about the NBA 3-point competition, some of the competitors in it. There's one name on that is not like the others. And if you've seen the list, you know exactly who I'm talking about. So we'll deep dive on all that and more on tomorrow's 2 Buck Sports Show at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time right here on YouTube. Wayno, thanks for being here with me today, buddy. I really appreciate you hanging out once again, man. It was a good conversation, fun conversation as always.
I like it. Yeah, of course. It was an emotional episode today.
It was good to get some of that off of our chest and hopefully help some of y'all take a deep breath like we have had time to take a deep breath. Hopefully that helps y'all. But for Wayno, for Blessed City Media, for FanDuel, Grind City Brewing, I am Rusty Buckets. We'll be back here tomorrow live at 11 a.m. Central. In the meantime, y'all go be a friend to somebody who needs a friend, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to the 2 Buck Sports Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. We'll see you back here next time.